The Steelers could not get past Joe Flacco and the Bengals on Thursday Night Football last week. Now, after some extra time to regroup, the team is set for Sunday Night Football at Acrisure as Aaron Rodgers faces his former team in the Green Bay Packers. We have the latest on the matchup coming up next. You are watching Steelers Kickoff. It's live right here on KDKA TV.
Welcome to BetMGM Steelers Kickoff.
Good morning, everyone, and happy game day, and welcome inside our KDKA TV studios for another edition of Steelers Kickoff. I'm Bob Pompeani, flanked by the quarterback of the program, as always, Mr. Charlie Batch. Rich Walsh and Jerry Dulac will be along a little bit later in this program as well. You know, Steelers had some extra time to get ready for the Green Bay Packers following last week's disappointing 33-31 loss in Cincinnati. So, Charlie, how important is that extra 3 days getting ready for the next opponent? We often call it a mini bye, is it?
Yeah, it really is a mini bye because you look at it and even though you're on a short week on the front side, on the back side, you have to figure out a way to recover in a hurry. And when you look at just the schedule right now, in order for them to get the potential #1 seed, they have to go 11 straight weeks with playing again. So these guys have to be able to respond in a hurry.
Yeah, it does help along the way, and it was no secret how bad the Steelers fared in Thursday night road games against divisional opponents. But how does the team usually do the week after, you might be asking? Well, let's take a look at the numbers sponsored by Hyundai. Take a look at these numbers. They're rather interesting here, too. The Steelers are 14-6 after Thursday night games in the Mike Tomlin era. That's a .700 win percentage. They're also 14-4 under Tomlin after a bye week. More good news. And how about this? The Steelers are undefeated 3-0 against the Packers after a Thursday night game in Tomlin's tenure. And that's all you have to do and take a look at the numbers to know that this should be a good night tonight at the office. And for reaction from the Steelers and how they plan to respond this week, we send it across the studio right now and enjoy Rich Walsh, who's here. Rich?
Well, the Steelers had a few extra days to get things fixed, and usually when the Steelers have extra time, they're a hard team to beat. And after watching the Steelers' defense in Cincinnati, they needed it, not only for the rest, but to regroup.
You know, we got to flush it because we got a big game coming up this Sunday, but definitely sucks the way we lost, especially it being the AC North game, so we just got to flush it and move on. I feel like we've done that, and so, like I said, we just got to focus on this Sunday. We've had a good week of practice so far, so just got to continue to build in that way.
You know, with a lot of people in the NFL, and you know, some defenses are doing better than what we're doing, even when the offense knowing what they're running. So I think it's a thing in the NFL, like certain coaches got certain ways they play. They call the game, and you know, offenses may know that. But at the end of the day, we get paid to play. Technique-wise, assignment-wise, whatever, we could be better. We just do what we do better. I think you can mix stuff up. But at the end of the day, like I said, whoever we got, we gonna run with it. Like we got the guys to do it. We just gotta go there and execute.
We want to make the play so bad that sometimes we get out of our gaps, and it makes the defense susceptible. Our tackling's got to be a lot better. But hopefully we can learn from it, good teach tape, and move on. We got a lot of ball to play, and you know, I just think we got to learn from our mistakes.
Well, Highsmith went on to say they're an elite defense when they can stop the run, but when they can't, it hasn't been so elite. The Steelers defense has given up an average of 374 yards on defense, which is near the bottom in the NFL. Guys?
All right, Rich, thanks very much. And now it's time to hear from Post-Gazette Steelers insider Jerry Dulac. So, Jerry, let's bring you in here. Have you seen or heard anything from inside the Steelers organization as to what the team may have been working on during these extra days off to fix what went wrong in Cincinnati?
Well, you know, Bob, those extra days off are more important for the coaches than the players. You know, they don't practice Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They get one extra day on Monday, so that's nice in terms of game preparation. But what the coaches do is they try to figure out what the heck was going wrong in Cincinnati. And, you know, I think what they've decided is that, look, you have to play to your strengths. And your strength the previous couple games was your base defense, being able to pressure the quarterback, 12 sacks, 30 quarterback hits in those two previous games. That was not apparent, of course, in Cincinnati, and a lot of that is because they started in their sub package, and when you start in your sub package, you're inviting teams to run the ball. That's what the Bengals did, and so it's going to be a schematic adjustment that the Steelers will have to make against the Packers.
You know, one of the bigger developments from the injury side of things is Calvin Austin. Full go at practice. He will play today. So, Charlie, how much does Calvin Austin help this passing game this week?
Yeah, he's going to have to. It's going to be big for him. And I get excited for him coming back because I know how important this season is for him. Missed some time with the shoulder injury, but here he is now inserted back into the lineup. You know he is capable of those big plays. And for me, I feel like this game here is probably one of the biggest of his young career because he has a chance on a national stage to showcase to everybody else around the league that he could produce and can do it consistently throughout the season.
Bright lights bring out bright performances. That's the hope here coming into this game. And now it's time for Charlie's weekly quarterback analysis presented by Cleveland Brothers. And Charlie, Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, they have this good relationship. Is that quarterback-wide receiver connection a real thing, or is it simply two guys who are very good at what they do?
No, this combination of both. These guys are very good at what they do. And 22 catches on the season for DK. I know he wants to increase that, but the big plays down the field, you see him making it there against the Browns. We saw what happened against the Vikings. He wants to continue to produce, but again, you have to be consistent with time of possession and making sure that you are dominating first down to now allow you to open up that offense.
Like to see those yak yards there by a big guy like DK Metcalf. He gets it going, man. It's hard to bring him down. We're just getting started here on Steelers Kickoff. Coming up next, Rich Walsh returns with a special one-on-one with tight end Pat Freiermuth. Keep it locked right here. It's KDKA TV.
Welcome back to BetMGM Steelers Kickoff.
Well, after a slow start to this season, Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth found his stride in a major way last week, scoring 2 critical touchdowns to keep the team alive late in that game. Rich Walsh caught up with the man they call Muth at practice earlier this week.
Hey, Pat, the one thing I've noticed over the last few years is you're one of the first ones out here, one of the last ones to leave. You know, where'd you get that work ethic, and is that important?
Yeah, it's very important. Obviously, that was instilled with me when I was younger. I was fortunate enough to have a great upbringing between, my parents, their hard work, middle-class working family, both teachers, and my grandfather really took, me and my brother, my sister, and really all my cousins under his wing, taught us how to work hard and strive for what we wanted. And, I've always just been kind of a worker. There's nothing really to my life except, football and family. And so I kind of just live that throughout my everyday life and just go with the ups and downs of it.
Development, the last game was a pretty nice feeling, wasn't it for you?
Yeah, it was a good feeling. Obviously, slow start to the season for me. Was happy with the performance, but obviously, we didn't come away with a win. And so it was good individually, but, I wanted the team success first. And, I'd rather win a game than and catch no footballs than the performance I had the last game. So hopefully this week we can get back on the winning track.
You're human. Is it hard to balance that sometimes, the frustration of maybe not getting as many balls as you want or targets and winning?
A little bit. I mean, obviously, we're here to win football games, and whatever my role is, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. We have a great, talented, deep tight end room that, it's super fun to be a part of, all great guys, and adding Spence into that mix, he's been a great asset for us in the run game and doing the things that he can do. So anytime my number is called, I just got to stay ready and continue to deliver in those moments.
I guess it must be super fun that there's an emphasis on the usage of tight ends too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just not even myself, just the whole room. Like I said, all the guys in that room work hard every single day in practice and meetings, the off season. So everyone in that room deserves the credit that they're getting. So it's been super fun to be a part of, and it's been great so far.
Rich, Pat, thanks very much for the time there. And Charlie, Freiermuth talked about being patient and caring more about stats or the wins over the stats, which is unusual for some guys in this game. They want the wins, but they want the stats too. And moving forward, do you see his role increasing here, as I think many people expect it to?
Yeah, and you touched on it there, patience, because, you get excited for a 100-yard game, but yet you didn't get the win. This guy wants to be more involved in the offense. They've been using jumbo personnel group, which limited his time on the field. But when he is on there, that's the big play that he's capable of doing. So I expect them to use him a lot more as the season is moving forward because they're going to need those big play capabilities from him.
No question about it. All hands on deck there. And when we come back, we're going to go behind enemy lines with a preview of Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. You are watching Steelers Kickoff right here on KDKA TV. Oh, yeah, the Steelers are going to be taking the field tonight in those new throwback uniforms in prime time as they face the Packers. One of the best teams in the league so far this season, certainly going to be a tall assignment. After 18 seasons in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers was traded to the Jets 2 years ago, and this weekend marks the first time Rodgers will get to face the team that dealt him away.
I don't have any animosity toward the organization. Obviously, I wish that, things have been better in our last year there, but, I have a great relationship with a lot of people still in that organization. And this is not a revenge game for me. I'm just excited to see some of those guys and be on Sunday Night Football again.
Part of the reason why Green Bay traded Rodgers is because they had Jordan Love waiting in the wings, and Love has played well since becoming their starter.
Aaron was great to me all 3 years, and I think really everybody that was in that quarterback room with us in my time, it's been great. We've got no issues. It's been just a great room to be a part of.
This year, the two quarterbacks have pretty similar numbers. Love has more yardage, but Rodgers has more touchdown passes. Both have nearly identical completion percentages and QB ratings.
We shoot each other texts every now and then. A lot of it is just, saying good luck throughout the season. A-Rod texted me and was, talking about some of the plays we've been running and some of my footwork, things like that, complimenting me. So, obviously, it's great to be able to hear from him. I got so much respect for him, and anytime he gives me pointers, things like that. That's the stuff you want to get feedback from a legend like that. So we got a great relationship. Obviously, I'm excited to be able to see him Sunday, go against him.
One major factor for Green Bay's offense this year has been tailback Josh Jacobs. Since signing with the Packers last year, he's averaged a touchdown per game. Defensively, their big splash this offseason was trading for pass rush specialist Micah Parsons. On Tuesday, Coach Tomlin was asked if he thought Parsons should be considered among the elite defensive players in the league.
Most certainly. I think his paycheck indicates so.
Yeah, always goes to W2. That's evidence. Let's take a look at our South College game plan today. It's about one of the best defensive players in the NFL. That's Micah Parsons. The former Cowboy has averaged over 10 sacks per season, including a career-high 14 a couple of years ago. We aren't yet at the halfway point of this season. He's settling into a new system now. Parsons has 5.5 sacks so far, 3 of them taking place last week in Arizona. So, Charlie, 2 weeks ago, the Steelers got extra attention paid to Myles Garrett, and it kept him from being a factor in that game. Do you expect them to do the same kind of thing for number one?
They better. You just talked about it, coming off at 3 sacks last week. This is why they traded for him. So at some point he's going to disrupt the pocket, and that's going to happen. And that's okay. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers has been one of the best at getting outside of the pocket, working that scramble drill, something that he was adequate, making sure that the receivers work for him throughout. And right now, he has a 116 passer rating, over 9 yards per completion. So this is going to be a matchup that I'm going to follow.
It's definitely going to be one that everyone will circle. Well, here, let's once again bring in our Steelers insider from the Post-Gazette, Mr. Jerry Dulac. And before we hear from you, Jerry, it's important to take a look at the tail of the tape between Steelers offense and Packers defense, two of the better units respectively in the NFL. The Steelers rank 8th in points per game. Toward the bottom of the league in total yards and rush yards per game at 26 and 7 in turnovers per game. Meanwhile, the Packers are 12th in points allowed per game, 6th and 2nd respectively in total yards and rushing yards per game, while being near the bottom of the league in turnovers. So, Jerry, what do you think the Steelers are going to have to get accomplished tonight on offense to put them in a position to win this game?
Well, Bob, to me, it's just keep doing what you've been doing. Look, Aaron Rodgers has been very successful. 4 out of his 6 games, 100-plus passer rating in those games, 14 touchdowns leading into last weekend, tied for most in the NFL. Look at the protection he's getting. Hasn't been sacked in 3 of the past 4 games. And so you look at Jaylen Warren being able to run like he did last week, and the production they're getting from their tight ends, and you're getting Calvin Austin back. So you know what? Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change. Make the Packers adjust to what you're doing. Sure, they're going to have some schematic things that they have to be aware of, including Micah Parsons. But don't change what you've been doing, because this is an offense that we saw last week can bail out the defense. Keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Scores 30-plus points a game and take your chances. All right, now it's time to send this program to New York City. James Brown is standing by with a look at what's coming up on the NFL today following this program. JB.
Hey, Bob, up next on the NFL Today, the Ravens turn to Tyler Huntley as they play host to the Red Hot Bears. We'll preview that one. Then J.J. Watt taps in to share what's on his mind. And we get a chance to chop it up with Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco. Then we'll look ahead as the Broncos seek their 5th straight dub, that against the Cowboys. But first, Coaches Guys, Bob and Charlie. They'll be right back when Steelers Kickoff continues right here on KDKA.
Steelers Kickoff is presented by McClellan's Contracting and Roofing. If our name goes on it, we stand behind it, so you can stand in it.
All right, welcome back to the program, everyone. And with the extra days off after the last game, many Steelers put that time to good use by giving back to their communities. And it started with the Project Bundle Up program at Dick's Sporting Goods. At the waterfront, 10 players took 24 kids on a shopping spree to pick out things like hats, coats, gloves to get ready for the inevitable cold weather, which is coming over the next couple of months. And guys like TJ Watt, Troy Fautanu, Pat Freiermuth, and Alex Highsmith on hand for this great event. Also this week, John Smith visited the community kitchen in Hazelwood to get involved in their program that focuses on helping people released from prison transition back into society. Smith was also honored this week by the NFLPA when they named him the community MVP for week number 7.
It's just an extreme honor to be obviously nominated and recognized. Is that I understand that my platform goes far beyond, catching touchdowns and winning games. And as a man of faith, I'm big on that and always helping empower my community. And so it's truly an honor.
Congrats to all. And Charlie, great stories, all of them. But you and Latasha are writing a very nice chapter to the latest Best of the Batch Foundation. And tell us about this year's In the Pocket event, which is coming up. Mark it down, November the 13th.
Yes, congratulations to everyone that's there, and obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers for the impact that they continue to make into the community. And with that being said, we are having Best of the Batch Foundation. We're having our annual In the Pocket event, which is a pool, poker, ping pong, and this year we are adding cornhole to the equation. And this helps raise funds for our after-school program, which we call OST, out of school time, and our STEAM programs, and we say STEAM instead of STEM because we include the A for arts. So this is special all around, and we are truly grateful for everybody who believes in the mission and vision of what we're trying to accomplish. You see the QR code if you want to be involved. Also, you can go to batchfoundation.org to see all the ways that you can participate, including an online auction for those that are not in the Pittsburgh area.
You're good at ping pong, I found out, so you can take him on and everybody else from the Pittsburgh Steelers, November the 13th. Thanks, Charlie. Almost out of time here on Steelers Kickoff. When we come back, who do you think is going to win this game tonight? We're going to have our predictions next right here on KDKA TV.
Welcome back to BetMGM Steelers Kickoff.
Well, we've showed you and talked about all the great numbers for Mike Tomlin on Sunday night. Jordan Love has done some pretty good work. 4 games on Sunday night, 12 touchdowns, no interceptions. With that, Jerry, your prediction for this game tonight?
Fellas, I don't think it's going to be a repeat of the 2009 game when Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers combined for 886 yards and 6 touchdowns. But I do think it's going to be a little bit of a shootout. I think it's going to be a little bit of what we saw last week. I think it's going to be the second highest scoring game in the NFL this weekend. I like the Steelers coming back home off that loss in Cincinnati, 33-32 in a shootout.
Wow, a lot of points there, Sunday night stage. What do you think, Charlie?
Yes, I'm like Jerry. I truly feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game. You heard Rich earlier in the show talking about this defense giving up 374 yards, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to make a play in this game, at the end of the game, to propel the Steelers to a victory. I think the Steelers win 31-28.
I think Rich agrees with your guys' assessment about a shootout because he has a lot of points. I'm going to go the other way just to be different. I think the defense will make some plays, and I think it'll be a lot more difficult than it has been. 22-17, but we all agree the Steelers get a much-needed win because this schedule coming up is not easy. After this, of course, the Colts come here next week, and then at Chargers before the Bengals come back to town here. So we have a lot on tap for you today on KDKA. It's the NFL Today on CBS. Then you're going to watch the Bears and the Ravens, and no Lamar Jackson once again in that game. 425, we got a good one for you. Cowboys and Broncos. Broncos still undefeated at home. Cowboys scoring a lot of points. Tonight, join us for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, 10:35 on KDKA+. And then after the game tonight, make the switch to KDKA. 11:35, we have the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We'll break it all down with live reaction from the Steelers and the Green Bay Packers. And boy, that Baltimore team, 1-5 all week long. People thought it was going to be Lamar Jackson coming back, and he's not playing again.
No, he's not, and this is going to be something that the NFL continues to warn teams on, especially when it comes to the injury report. And when you go from out in the manner that the Ravens ruled Lamar Jackson out, that does not going to fare well for those guys. I expect a heavy fine to go the Ravens' way.
Especially after the week of news from the NBA and all the stuff that goes into it. Crazy week. We're going to be back later today. In the meantime, for Jerry Dulac, Rich Walsh, Charlie Batch, I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us here. Stay tuned. It's the NFL Today on CBS. It's coming your way next on a beautiful day and night for football.